In the pouring rain against a red backdrop, a man fights an entire army of evil ninjas to save a boy named Miharu. Things get tough for our hero, but then he is simply told to forget this tragic incident. Now, we move a few years into the future where Miharu is a teenage boy in the middle of class. He is greeted by a nerd boy named Koichi who tries to become friends with him, but Miharu isn't too keen on this. Koichi is joined by his sensei Tobari who also tries to get Miharu over to their side, but it's of no use. Now, our hero spends some time with his cat and then he goes to work at a restaurant. Here, he is greeted by the sensei who tells him that he is a target, but Miharu has no intention of working with him. A tense argument follows, but then we see some evil ninjas making their way towards our hero. He walks out and sees Koichi getting threatened by a ninja goon. The evil goon attacks Miharu because he wants his powers to become the Nabari king, and this leads to a dramatic transformation. Miharu proceeds to attack everyone with his true powers as he can hear the words of a witch in his head. Koichi tries his best to stop the demon boy, but it's of no use and Tobari has to step in to help him out. Miharu wakes up the next day and is told by the team that he has a secret art inside his body which can become a legendary move. After some further explanation, our hero asks if somebody can take this power out of him, but this seems to be impossible. There's no time to rest, as a bunch of ninjas attack our heroes once again, and a tense battle follows. Despite the intense fighting, Miharu gets kidnapped by the ninja goon and things are about to get intense. Luckily, Tobari shows up and saves Miharu, after which he says that he is at his service so that he can become a true ninja again. However, Miharu ignores him and walks away because this is too much drama for him. Now, we see Tobari and Koichi training with intensity, but Miharu is still unconcerned. The boys are interrupted by a blonde babe named Reime who is shocked to see the chosen boy as someone so calm and unconcerned. The blonde ninja decides to confront our hero, but he tells her that even she has selfish reasons for being here. Reime meets Tobari after that and tells him that she will have to take care of Miharu if he ends up giving into the dark side. Reime is shown to be a little blind, but she manages to make it in time to save Miharu when he gets into an awkward situation while saving some birds. Feeling a need to educate the chosen one, Reime decides to take Miharu to a sacred village named after an overpowered ninja, Fuma. Everyone gets ready to visit the village and dress accordingly, but our hero shows up in a funny outfit and scares all of them. Tobari is upset by this and decides to stay back rather than deal with 3 kids and a legendary fate. However, Miharu uses his puppy dog eyes to convince the sensei to come along, much to his disappointment. On their way, the team talks about the village of Fuma, but then Tobari has an ominous vision and then we see the same flashback of the man protecting Miharu against the ninjas, hinting that the man is actually Tobari himself. The team makes it to their destination but notices something off when they notice a misspell that has taken over the forest. Upon closer inspection, they find a bunch of Fuma ninjas beaten down and defeated. This is an obvious cause of concern, and then our heroes learn that everyone was defeated by a demon boy working for an evil ninja clan named Iga. Meanwhile, we see the other Fuma ninjas getting killed by the Iga ninjas in brutal fashion. There is no mercy for anyone as all the survivors are beaten down and slashed by the villains. We meet a ninja leader named Yukimi, whose use of a gun is a bit suspicious but he doesn't care about it. Our heroes show up to take on the villains but learn that the evil ninjas are too strong for them. The most dangerous one of all is the demon boy named Yoit. Miharu is alarmed by his appearance and the feeling is mutual, so Yukimi decides to bring his troops in for a kidnapping mission. Tobari tries to take the kids to safety and is able to block Yoit, so Miharu decides to fool around, allowing Reime to show her samurai skills. Our heroes put on a much better show and take down some of the Iga ninjas, so Yumiki figures this is not the best time to waste energy. He leaves the scene, but Tobari is still fighting against Yoit who can use Kira powers. The battle is of no contest as Yoit comes out on top, and he even dominates Koichi and Reime with his demon powers. Miharu gets knocked down and then Yoit is about to pull out his finisher move on Tobari, so things are looking bleak. Luckily, a cat beast arrives and transforms into the overpowered samurai Fuma to smack away Yoit and gain the advantage. He brings forth his team of ninjas and challenges Yoit, but the demon boy figures it's better to vanish into thin air for now. The team is taken in by Fuma's clan and everyone is healed by a girl named Juji. Now, Fuma arrives and tells Miharu that the power of Kira allows Yoit to transfer himself into another person's body. However, each usage also comes at the cost of his life, which is what makes it such a deadly move. Reime is clearly upset by the way things have gone, so she decides to take Koichi for some training even though he isn't in the condition to do anything. Miharu wonders what he should do about this situation, but then he gets introduced to the shinobi ninjas as the chosen one with the secret art. It's a very serious moment, but Miharu acts unconcerned and this makes Fuma defuse the situation with his awkward speech. He even offers a fantasy life as a bribe for our hero, but this doesn't really help anyone. The next day, Yoit gets upset when a courier man calls him a cute boy, so he almost kills him. However, he gets stopped by Yumiki, who tells him to focus on the mission and not use up too much of his energy. Tobari finally wakes up from his injuries. Miharu complains that he was teased by Fuma. This makes the sensei senseless, so he confronts Fuma about it, but his injuries still haven't healed properly. Now, the whole team sits down to discuss the secret art, but Miharu is told that it cannot be used while he is still alive. The Iga ninjas simply want to extract this magic from him by killing him, but Fuma wants to break the chain by finding a way to activate the secret art while also keeping our hero alive. Meanwhile, Yumiki and Yoid eat a meal while the evil Iga leader Hattori gives a speech on how he has found a book on the secrets of the Shinobi clan. It turns out that even Fuma wants to investigate other Shinobi villages to get more forbidden scrolls, so our heroes get involved in a game of cat and mouse. The next day, Miharu leaves for school, but Koichi and Reime follow after him almost like they're his personal bodyguards. The ninja-gun follows after them, and then we learn that Tobari has instructed the team to go look for forbidden scrolls while also avoiding any kind of suspicion. Our heroes search through a library trying to find something of use, but in the middle of this, Miharu wonders if his secret art will ever come to be of any use. Even Reime thinks back to her past and how she was entrusted with the family's katana sword to uphold their name. Now, our heroes find Miharu's cat outside the cafe, and then they find the ninja-gun waiting inside. He says he's trying to escape the Iga ninjas and wants help from Miharu, but he gets refused, so it leads to a brief battle. Just when Koichi about to finish things off, Reime asks the ninja-gun if he's ever heard of her brother Reiko, who had gone rogue and put her family name to shame. A brief flashback shows Reiko joining the villain gang, but Reime gets distracted and allows the goon to escape. Meanwhile, Fuma takes the disguise of an old man and hears Tobari explain his origin story in dramatic fashion. Everyone sits down for a discussion, but Tobari gets upset when Fuma states that everyone must prepare to die for the cause. This triggers Fuma, so he attacks Tobari and turns into an overpowered dragon to gain the advantage. A tricky battle follows, but Fuma spares the sensei by playfully knocking him down. At night, Miharu does some homework, but Koichi and Reime are knocked down by Yoit, who wants to have a private chat. The bodyguards wake up later, but realize that Miharu has been kidnapped by the Kira boy. Tobari learns about what has happened and feels that this is his responsibility, so he decides to go to Yoit and get our hero back. Guilt starts to consume him, so Koichi shouts at his sensei and says that Yoit might also be conflicted because he chose to knock them out rather than kill them. Now, we see Miharu asking Yoit about the Kira's powers as they walk on the train tracks. Yoit isn't keen on discussing that and instead takes Miharu to an abandoned bus. He says that he wants our hero to change the past in a way that Yoit was never born in the first place. This is a bit too complex for Miharu, and he states that this is impossible, but Yoit states that it can become a reality. Suddenly, the ninja-gun shows up and demands Miharu, but Yoit uses his powers to toy with him, and it makes Miharu squirm. He tries to run away, but Yoit forces him to watch what he's doing to the ninja-gun. Our hero makes an escape but gets caught by Yoit, who offers him a few options on what to do with his secret art. There's only one choice where Miharu's friends come out alive, so he takes that one. This is good for Yoit, as this choice means that Miharu will unleash his secret art powers after collecting all the forbidden scrolls. Our hero comes back to the restaurant and is greeted by Tobari in a rather excessive fashion. On the other hand, Yumiki has a stern chat with Yoit, who feels that it doesn't matter if he's alive or dead. Now, we see a babe reporter named Oda who tells her team that she has an amazing story to cover. Her assistant Kato doesn't like the sound of this, but he is told to book a couple of flight tickets for them. At night, Tobari asks Miharu what Yoit did to him, but is given emotional blackmail instead. The next day, Oda shows up in front of the team and reveals that she has the power to read minds. She uses her skills to blackmail all our heroes so that she doesn't expose their inner secrets. Then Oda explains that she is doing this because wants the team to take care of a mafia don named Frosty who is conducting unethical and illegal experiments. On top of that, Kato shows a forbidden scroll which is up as a reward, so it puts the team in a spot. Tobari and the others think about fighting Oda, but she goes to Miharu and tells him to tap into his lost memories. This backfires on her as our hero's secret power almost kills her in the process. Regardless, Tobari decides to accept the job because this is getting a bit too dramatic. Later, Oda almost faints because of what happened earlier, and Kato thinks of pulling some moves on her, but she reads his mind and puts him in the friend zone. Later, Reime gets an update on Reiko, so Miharu allows her to go look for her samurai brother. That's when Frosty shows up with his guards, so the team becomes alert as they are joined by Oda and Kato. Even Yumiki and Yoit are here and they meet a scientist named Hideo who is Frosty's partner. After that, Tobari figures it's time to get into action, so he takes down some of Frosty's guards. Now, we see flashback where Oda is at her daughter's funeral and she promises to avenge her. Back to the present, Oda talks to Miharu and tries to tease him some more, but realizes that there's no point in testing her powers on him. Tobari makes his way through the guards and is about to kill Frosty, but he gets stopped by Yoit, who is revealed to be a licensed bodyguard as well. Miharu shows up and tells Yoit that they can take the forbidden scrolls from Kato later. Frosty is taken away by Hideo and his attendants, after which Tobari gets into an intense battle with Yoit and Yumiki. However, Hideo gets caught by Oda, and we learn that he was responsible for getting her daughter hooked onto an experimental drug which eventually killed her. Oda decides to kill Frosty and put all the blame on Hideo, but then Yumiki and Yoit also show up. This leads to a hectic sequence, but Oda manages to read all of the thoughts inside Yoit's head. This once again backfires as it causes the Kira boy to unleash his powers without any control. Miharu manages to stop him before things get out of control, but Oda still wants to kill Frosty. Tobari tries to stop her, but Frosty pulls a gun on him as well. Luckily, Koichi shows up and shoots down Frosty, after which he brainwashes Hideo into thinking that he caused this whole bloodbath. Later, Oda tries to read Kato's mind but is unable to do so, and that's when Fuma arrives to explain that Kato was an inside man who knew how to counter Oda's powers. This might be true, but Kato states that he is actually a simp for Oda, although she doesn't care about him anymore. Fuma takes the forbidden scroll and vanishes, after which Oda gets on a train and goes back to her life as a reporter. Now, we see some Iga ninjas who catch a thief in the act but spare him no mercy. The ninjas are then revealed to be Reiko and Gu, who are all part of Hattori's team. This news is flashed everywhere and it immediately alerts Reime, who feels she's getting closer to her brother. Koichi decides to give Tobari some time away from him, especially after he was unable to kill Frosty by himself. After a briefly hilarious moment between the sensei and Miharu, we see the Iga clan coming together for the culmination of their plan. Yoit gets a little pissed off with the chat, but he starts coughing again because his Kira powers are draining him once more. Hattori learns that Yoit only has a few more months left, so he decides to put him to work. He also questions Reiko, who reveals that he has some unfinished business to take care of. A flashback shows Reiko going crazy as a kid and killing his own clan. Now that Reime has set out to kill her own brother, the others worry about what's going to happen when the siblings reunite. Later, when Miharu and Tobari get into a chat, our hero hints that the sensei might have been the one who had the secret art before him, as memories get erased upon using it. Meanwhile, Yumiki argues with his sister, so Yoit decides to meet Miharu, who is getting serious with Tobari regarding the forbidden usage of his secret art. Our hero declares he wants to help Yoit get better, but the Kira user is shown passed out from exhaustion. Suddenly, Reime gets into a confrontation with Reiko and an intense battle is about to follow. Yoit is found by Tobari's girlfriend Hana, who brings him to the base, so the sensei battles the Kira boy. However, Hana and Miharu tell them not to disturb the neighbors with their overpowered moves. Now, we see Reiko and Reime using their sword skills against each other, while Gu prays for his master to return soon. Hattori walks in on his sus behavior and wonders whether there is an imposter among us. As the Iga leader explains Reiko's horrid origin story, the crazed samurai dominates his own sister and lands the finishing blows to render her defeated and embarrassed. Now, Miharu has a word with Yoit while Hana gets flirty with Tobari. Realizing that they don't have much time, the boys decide to get to work on activating the secret art and erasing Yoit's existence. Hana cheers up the boys, but Tobari maintains that he cannot allow Miharu to use the secret art. Yoit feels more pain, so he leaves and tells Miharu to hurry with the forbidden scrolls. The team learns about Reime's state, and while she's still alive, her life as a samurai has become somewhat useless because of her recent defeat. Reiko, on the other hand, is busy enjoying a meal with his Iga buddies. He is amused when he sees Yumiki arguing with his sister, and it makes him remember his own past with Reime. He walks away, and then Gu remembers a traumatic incident where Reiko went savage mode after he got hurt during an encounter. Meanwhile, Miharu uses his blackmail powers once again to evade Tobari and wing it solo for the rest of the mission. Like, share, and subscribe to continue the story. See you soon.